Well said, right? Let's do it this way. Is there another group that has something they would like to add? I'm seeing people pointing at Aaron.
I'm pointing at Aaron.
Well, I'm supposed to talk about the model first. Okay. Well, are you talking about the four of us is what you're talking about? All right. Well, at JCC, we have been very fortunate, actually, because our continuing ed and curriculum is sort of merging at our college. You know, we've always been sort of separate, so it's a new thing for us. And they're merging, and our organizational structure is completely in flux at the moment. But I think it could be a very good thing for the CEU thing, because I'm here today with two of my CEU colleagues. I know more curriculum people came with me, but I have two CEU colleagues. And we really have dedicated both of these ladies here. This is Heidi Harris and Rosa, are both school-age folks, and I'm more early childhood background. So we've identified two people in curriculum that are really going to focus on the early childhood CEU development, and two people in continuing ed that are really going to focus on the school-age development. And then thankfully we have Heidi, particularly, but also Rosa, who knows how to develop a CEU and going through the process of being able to administer CEUs in the and is learning and guiding us in that process. So I feel very fortunate that it's been a really good collaboration for us at JCC to not only have content experts to develop, but also the know-how and the collaboration of someone who can walk us through the process of CEUs, because that's not something I've done in curriculum. So I'm excited about that. But I want to pass to Rosa to share a little bit about what Sharon was talking about the development at the state level.
Deborah Torrance contacted a few folks to help go ahead and make 20 CEU outlines for classes. Two of them, to my knowledge, and I think it's just two, are specifically school age, although others have implications for school age. I've not studied the list, and she's not quite ready to publish the entire list yet. We are doing this in about 2 weeks' time, and it's the worst possible time in my life to be doing this. Heather and Christy, do not tell Cindy, Osborne, and Stanley. My class is not ready yet to start on Monday, but it will be. Okay, so I'm doing, I've got to get the title right, I've changed it recently, Designing Quality Environments for School-Age Programs. Mine's going to be online. And it's going to have a student observation in it. It's going to have to take about a week, or I'm not sure my time frame yet. But it's going to take some periods of days to do it, although it's only 5 hours of content, because they're going to have to do a 30-minute observation unless someone cuts it out. Because I want them to get in the classroom and look at it. They're also going to have to do, they're going to have to create an activity based on an activity sheet to talk about how developmentally appropriate activities create a good environment and help control behavior. And they have to do a follow-up. They're going to have to reply back to me after the class is over. This isn't just sit down in the seat, get your certificate, and leave. This is, so what has it done for you? And so at the end of that, they will have to do something in response to the class to tell the instructor that, hey, this is what I got from it. And mine's probably going to be some kind of email feedback. But so that's my topic, and I'm going to come and stand beside Sharon and let her tell you about her topic. Anybody else developing? Okay, so let me hand this to you.
The topic that I'm working on is character education in school-age programs, developing activities and lesson plans. So the CEU that I'm working on surrounds character education, and we know that that's in the public schools in North Carolina, but the great thing about it is we can just roll that right over into the after-school programs so that children and faculty can become familiar with that, rather the caregivers rather, that work with the school-age children, and that can roll over in ways of activities, incentives, and all type of different things. So that's the CEU that I'm working on. And I'd also like to add too, one of the differing things about the CEU is with us, when we teach courses, we sprinkle little things in there. It's just like when you sprinkle things on top of a cupcake. You can tell I like sugar, right? But anyway, sprinkle things on top of a cupcake. We are sprinkling when we teach, but when you have a CEU, it is specialized to one specific topic. There is the difference. So it's really building a foundation. One thing is building upon the other.
Thank you. Anyone from these two tables, did you want to share about your course?
My topic is not specifically school age, although it can be. Mine is basically building blocks to online learning. So helping them to know how to, those who are scared to do online learning, they can at least come and say, this CEU is for you, and now you can eventually be able to not only take CEUs online, but also then curriculum classes online, because now we're giving you a building blocks, A, B, C, D, that are going to help you.
Okay, and anyone from this table like to chime in? Okay. That's okay, learning from everyone, no problem. Okay. Any final comments on this topic before we move on? We're going to have more time for group discussion. I think this was very helpful, but in the meantime, we've got 2 presentations to cover. So, sure.
Who are you getting to teach these CEUs?
I think as things progress, you're going to find out more information about who will be eligible to present the CEUs. I think that's what we need to think at this point. It is really going to be a good thing, and the folks who are teaching the CEUs, they just won't get Judy Jane that's walking down the street. You're going to have a specialization in that area with experience, and that goes along with the adult educator certification requirements. For folks who apply that, they are going to look through the resumes, they're looking at your transcripts, they're looking at everything to know that you're an expert in that particular content area. I know that's answering in a roundabout way, but here again, as things progress, and if you attend one of the trainings that Deb was talking about, if you haven't gone to one, I strongly recommend that you do go. That will shed a lot of light on what's going on and how it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Great, and I'm sure those dates are listed on their website. I got a couple of them. I think March 8th, she said, was here in Greensboro, the 10th in Blowing Rock, and then there's one on the 12th. But I'm sure those are on their website. Okay, any last questions or comments?
Something that she says over and over is it's to supplement what you're doing in curriculum, not supplant what you're doing in curriculum. So like taking a topic like, environments like Rose is doing, which we talk about in curriculum classes, but we don't have necessarily a whole class to talk about it. And so, and online learning and your character education, it's talked about, but it's not a whole thing. So that's kind of, I think, the goal. And we just wanted you to know that these 2 were being developed at a state level, so you don't develop them locally.
Comment over here.
And I wanted to back up what Sharon was saying. If you haven't been to the training, it's really good to go, because what Deborah really reinforced was that as you design the class, you can do some kind of survey at the beginning of who might be interested in, and you're tailoring that content. You can actually tailor that content to what they need. Is to help the providers out there in areas where in the community college system before, we haven't been able to get all that meat covered in our class. I know you would probably all agree that in any class, there's so much content, it's hard to cover all that material.
At Central Piedmont, we started talking with our CCE area, and we had 2 meetings. And by talking with CCE folks, you will know what steps and paperwork through your community college you need to take, and also who can teach. And I was told by Deborah Torrance that if you are community college, you are somewhat exempt from the adult care, the endorsement process. No? Okay. So our plan is that our full-time folks are using their summer. We have a little bit of fund left, so they're developing about 5-hour, 0.5 CEU hour classes, but one of them are also involved in states that 20 development. What I wanted to say is pointing out was that the community, right, needs assessment. Our recruiter and had a great idea, and also our faculty say that let's get the demands assessed first. So we are having focus group of directors or regional coordinators of the child care providers. So we're getting their share to share with us what their employees really need. So that's in our plan. I wanted to share that. I think we're excited to hear what they have to say, what topics and contents and educations they will need for their own supervisors and employees.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, let's move into the next item on the agenda, which is giving you a glimpse at this online database that we've been referring to for posting professional development trainings. And we're really excited about this because we mentioned in sort of the opening and framing remarks about when we did the assessment of the field and surveyed providers, there was a real lack of awareness about what offerings were out there, not just with community colleges, but with workshops, conferences, and other trainings for school-age providers. So we wanted to recognize that need, and as a result, the After School Professional Development Work Group, one of our initial projects was around creating an inventory of all after-school trainings and professional development offerings in the state. And that, in turn, led to the development of the state's first online centralized database of after-school professional development offerings. This was unveiled about a year ago, and so it has a statewide audience. I think we unveiled it here at Synergy, and as we were progressing with this work with the community college system, we saw it as sort of a win-win for all of us. We thought it would be a great marketing tool for you to use for your colleges, because having that statewide platform and being able to reach into new audiences and sharing the word about upcoming school-age coursework, and also great for us to be able to share with practitioners all of the college offerings across the state. It's designed to be searchable by county. So let me actually just give you a quick demo, and while I do this, if you would look in your packets, there's several handouts related to the database, which looks like, yes, thank you. And I've got a couple of websites here pulled up.